Good. Well, thankfully, I'm not dead. Good morning, everyone. Well, another week of Midweek Mindfreak. Get your mindset right in the middle of the week. So we're excited about getting going. So let's start the show.
Chuck and Angela run multiple million-dollar companies. They are members of Riz Media's Billionaire Club, have coached and mentored thousands of agents, and are international speakers. They say by radically changing your mindset, not only can you change your outlook on life, but affect the actual results you obtain. Welcome to Midweek Mindfreak.
Well, good morning once again. Boy, this topic this week kind of hits home a little bit. How to get through challenging times. We all deal with that at some point. Some more challenging than others, right? But I do have to say some glimmers of hope right now with things starting to open up.
So excited. Resume our dates
Isn't
outside
that
the house.
kind of crazy that we talk about things opening up like it's a big deal in life of boy, some strange times.
I know.
So
Really
we're all going through challenging times, which would lead into this topic of challenging times and how do you get through it. And I like when my sister's good morning.
Our niece
Well,
is having a baby now.
wait, let's see that.
Yay!
Hunter Christopher. I thought it was James, Hunter James.
Not our
All
time.
right. Well, anyway, look, squirrel, right? So, yeah, some trying, challenging times. We all go through them. Some worse than others. That is life. Life's a journey of challenging times. But let's face it, when you're in a challenging time, that's all you're focused on.
Mm-hmm.
You're focused on, wow, what is my life about? How am I going to get through this difficulty? Some people, it's like, woe is me. Feels like that's everything that's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yeah, people can get all consumed with challenges, and what we want to do is to give some. And I get it when something hits you out of nowhere or is an ongoing struggle. Sometimes you really need some strategies to get out of that mindset because it can consume you.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about. We all deal with it at some time, but in difficult times, let's face it, we need a little more support.
Yep.
A little more guidance, more people to come alongside of us to help through any type of difficult times. And like I said, I do understand there's some people who think difficult times is not going to a restaurant.
Pretty difficult.
It's
pretty difficult.
And then other people, difficult times are could be health issues, something really hard, or finances. That's what people are going through. Charles Swindoll I love this quote: "Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% of how you look at it."
That's true. And you have to start practicing with small challenges, because every day brings its own challenges, some really minor, so that you can start to prepare and practice with your mind to have right perspective on that.
Yeah, so we're going to go through a few things to getting through hard times, making them a little less difficult or a little
just strategies
to
help.
There you go. I'm going to call them rules.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love rules.
Yeah, you are a rule follower. Rule 1, assert your goals. I like that word, assert. It's like taking control. What is it that you want to do in life?
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals in life? Because sometimes during difficult times, everything gets thrown out the window. It's like, it's almost an excuse to take your mind off of
Freeze. Yeah.
where you're going, right?
Yeah.
So asserting your goals is basically saying, all right, let me get things in order here. Let me stop dwelling on these negative things that I see in my life, and let me start focusing on the things that matter. And one of the ways of doing it is creating a to-do list in the morning. Just set out a priority of to-do list and see if you could get 5 of them knocked off.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people out there go, I don't even have 5 things on my to-do list.
Oh, no.
Well, that might be problem number 1.
Yeah.
Find some things to do in your life.
Right.
So creating that list and then working hard towards it. They say an idle mind is, what is it, the devil's work factory?
Or something like that. Yeah, if you're not focusing your mind on purpose, then you don't have any control over your thoughts. We talk about that a lot.
So I think what happens is a lot of times when you're stuck in a rut or you're feeling overwhelmed with that woe is me type of thing, it's because that's what you're just focusing on. So get stuff in your life, your goals. What are you striving to do? Create a to-do list and go after it. I liked another thing I had read. At the end of the day, when you're grateful, go through the alphabet, and for each letter in the alphabet, write down what you were grateful for based off of that letter. So it should be 26 things. Do you know why 26?
What do you use for X?
Excellent.
No.
Right? Everybody? Excellent.
I'm sorry. How about xylophone?
You're grateful for your xylophone?
I have several kinds.
All right, good. What's next there?
I think that the strategies, for me, what I realize is the biggest part of a challenge is a really difficult challenge grabs your perspective and jacks with it. So these things that we're talking about, I think, are strategies of like really intentionally how to refocus your mind, right? So goals or whatever. It's not a matter of ignoring your circumstances. We're not saying pretend like you don't have these challenges. Certainly not. But your challenges become as big as you allow them to be by your focus.
Man, some people just blow them up like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, some people, they're so full of drama and negativity that their whole life is one big challenge, and it's because of focus and perspective. So these strategies we're talking about, in my mind, just help you to focus on something different. Not ignore, but focus on something different. So what are the things you can do? And this is really hard if you're in a big challenge, but you've got to focus on, try thinking about the things that are working in your life. What is going well? Because everybody on earth has things that are going well. It could be as simple as you're healthy, or you have wonderful kids, or your spouse, or I don't know about the wonderful kids part. That's hard.
Oh, I was going to say spouse. No.
Yes, we have that. But something's working. Something's working, and it might not even be something you can see around yourself because everything feels out of control around you. But there are things in your life. It could be you still have a job to go to. It can be as simple as your house is clean. I mean, there's something that's working, and if you start to think about the things that are going well, the focus is shifted on that instead of putting all of your focus on the challenging circumstances that you find yourself in.
Yeah. The next rule is embracing your fear. Embracing it, because I think one of the reasons why the fear becomes exacerbated, you like that? That's another X word. Exacerbated. It's the way I spell. Is because you don't embrace it. You let it control your life. And when you let fear control your life, it makes it seem like everything's bad. Everything's horrible. So embrace some of your fears. Like, I know a lot of people on here are in real estate. So like I always say, okay, so if you're struggling right now, do the things that you're maybe a little uncomfortable with, like cold calling. Yeah. Calling expired, calling FISBOs. People are afraid of that. I'm still big into door knocking. I know I get ridiculed. That people go, how dare you door knock? Well, behind my back they probably do. How dare you door knock in this? But you know what? If you keep your distance, knock on the door, step back 10 feet.
Yeah.
There's nothing, here's my opinion. I don't believe living your life instead of just cowering like we're dead is really the way to go. So embracing fear.
Yeah, I think that if you make it a habit of doing things that are uncomfortable for you, then when something really challenging does come along, you have skills, you have coping mechanisms that you've exercised over time. Like I said in the beginning, you should face every challenge with, this is a practice, no matter how small it is. This is a practice to help me train my mind to get better at dealing with these things.
Yeah, the other thing with fear too is when you base it off of that, some people let other people's fear become their fear.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The pandemic is a really great example, because some people talk about it in one way, others talk about it in another. And what are you listening to?
Well, and also how are you letting it affect you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not saying that we don't take precaution in life, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not just specifically talking about the pandemic, but when you're around people that are just fearmongers of everything,
mm-hmm.
the world's coming to an end, and you stay around them, all of a sudden you start to get that same mindset.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot.
We talk about it all the time.
Which I'll be talking about who you surround yourself with. Once again, you ever notice that common theme of who you surround yourself with matters on so many different aspects that sometimes you don't even realize these little things that creep into your life.
They creep in. They don't smack you in the face. They creep in little by little until it takes
somebody
overtakes your mind.
So that's mine. Embracing your fear is the next rule.
Another way to refocus is you have to remember that you're not a one-dimensional person. So what I mean by that
I look three-dimensional, four-dimensional.
What I mean by that is we're comprised of mind, body, soul. So sometimes it could be as simple as doing some things that exercise different dimensions of you. It could be, when things are, maybe I'm really angry or challenged by my children or something like that. It's a wonder to go outside and take a walk. You just gain perspective when you do something, or just wait till you're talking. Why don't you put up comments when you're talking?
I didn't put up a comment.
I know, but I saw you.
Does anybody see a comment up there?
He was about to. So, maybe it means
talking about perspective. That's a good one, Jenny, because sometimes fear can be your motivation to push through.
It can.
That's perspective.
That's wise.
Good.
Must be genetics. But if you just exercise a different part of you, it could be singing a song. It could be reading some really good books, or it could be.
I don't do either of those. No singing, no reading.
You sing. He sings all the time, by the way. Yeah. Silly songs with Chuck. Maybe he'll do one for
I'm like Pavarotti when I sing.
No, he's not. But exercising the different dimensions of you, your mind, your body, your soul, starts to just balance you a little bit so that you can gain maybe a different perspective.
Is that your next one?
Yes, it was.
All right, then mine. Don't give up. Wow, this is a big one that people just give up. It's like they throw in the towel. Throw in the towel for what? It's life.
Yeah, I know.
Life is going to have those peaks and valleys. You're going to struggle sometimes, some worse than others. But I think sometimes quitting is just an excuse for people because they're lazy. And they just give up. So here's some of the things that you will, because you're going to have stumbling blocks. You're going to get criticized. Don't beat yourself up when people say something and then, like I said, give up. So here's what another thing why you want to be around like-minded people. Because now on the flip side, when you're around positive people, when you're around people that truly care about you, love you.
I was reading comments. Sorry.
Reading comments. It doesn't bother me. It don't bother me. Truly care about, love you. They're going to pick you up.
Yes, and challenge you.
And challenge you.
Yeah, like stop being a weenie.
Here's the other thing. Yeah. And when you're around people that truly care about you, they're honest.
Yeah.
They're honest. They're not going to tell you what you want to hear. Because telling somebody what they want to hear does nobody any good.
That's not a real friend. A real friend recognizes when you need a little zap, like a little zap.
So if you're struggling today and you feel like, gosh, the fear is getting the best of me, life doesn't feel like it's going well, build your community around you.
Yeah.
That's my challenge to you. Once again, focus who's in your life.
Right.
Who are those people?
Yeah, you need to ask some questions too. You need to ask some questions of yourself. Listen to the people who you surround yourself with. Like, listen with a critical ear, and you'll probably hear yourself. So
Yeah. So that's a big one. Then put things in perspective, because here's the perspective. Look back in your life and look at the difficult things that happened in your life. Maybe it was a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And you can look back and remember those times you go, gosh, I don't know how I got through that.
mm-hmm.
I thought my life was done then. And it's not. And we all go through the seasons. So, like I said, guys, some worse than others. But create a community around you.
Yeah.
People that are going to bring you up, lift you up, build you up, focus on it, meaning recognize that's what you're doing. You're letting this consume you.
You know, I think one of the things that Chuck and I do really well is we actually reflect back on challenges, and we celebrate them. And what I mean by celebrate them, not that we, want to go back to that situation, but we celebrate the fact that we got through it. And we talk about maybe the ways that we could have done it better, or even just celebrating the ways that we handled it well. So when you reflect back on your victories over challenges, that might give you perspective of how to move forward. I just thought of that. But the other thing is when you're caught up in your own thoughts about a challenging situation, again, we're not ignoring it, but sometimes you just need to totally get your focus off yourself, and you need to go and serve other people. No matter what your challenge is, you can go and do something for somebody. And there is something that the way God wired us is when you're serving other people, your soul is lightened. So your challenges can be put in perspective just by unfocusing your eyes on yourself and focusing on other people.
Oh, there's a positive thought.
Is it open? How come all the restaurants didn't open on Monday? It made no sense to me. Open up.
No sense. But I'm going to touch on your serving part, because that was your last one.
No. I have lots. I'm making them up as I go along now. I have a couple more, actually.
All right, great. Well, but I want to talk about serving others. When you're feeling like you have challenging times and you're being consumed in, and you nailed it. God wired us that way. Love will overcome everything.
Yes.
It really is. It's when you become selfless and you give and you go serve others in any capacity. But let's just say you want to go down to a shelter or something and serve the homeless. All of a sudden you start to realize that your challenging times aren't as challenging anymore.
Right.
And you feel good about yourself.
Well,
And that is how God wired us.
Yeah, so you can even do something that's simpler. Even calling 10 people that are in your life and thinking on purpose, what can I do to lift them up? How can I compliment them? How can I tell them something that's really great about them that impacts my life in a positive way? So you're forcing yourself to say, hey, I'm calling you because you've been a great friend to me, blah, 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 whatever you say. But it is just complimenting and building somebody up. That in and of itself is just changing the wiring in your head to be more positive. You have to focus on the things that you have control over, not the things you don't have control over. So everybody has control over something, even in the worst of circumstances. You have control over something, even if it's as simple as your attitude or the way that you think about something. You can control that.
Well, that's that quote that it's 90% of how you deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my last point, the most important point, when you're facing challenging situations, you have to remember that there's a God in heaven who loves us. And so the power of prayer in any challenging situation is incredible. In fact, I could go on for hours, literally hours, with all the things that
I don't have hours.
That God
I don't
says.
think they have hours either.
But listen to just a couple of them. In Isaiah, for I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. And then in 1 Peter, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. The Psalms are the best. I have a couple Psalms. One from 56. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. And in Psalm 46, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. We serve a God in heaven who cares for you deeply. And the power of prayer just lifts your spirit because God is a God of comfort and will come alongside you and help you through your challenging time.
That was awesome.
Do you want to kiss me?
No. Well, anyway, that is how to get through challenging times, guys. We all have them. We care about you guys, and
yes, we do.
And we're wishing you the best. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see most of you next week. God bless you guys.
God bless you.